The Fabulous Five and the Cabin in the Woods. A jolly adventure with just a smidgen of Deadites. The Fabulous Five were simply thrilled when Graham announced they'd be spending their weekend in a charming little cabin in the woods. "It sounds smashing," said Lisa, who adored anywhere with rustic beans. "I hope they have hiking trails," said Liam. "I hope they have chips," said Jimmy. Poppy the cat said nothing, but her tail twitched in a way that suggested she was sensing something dubious was afoot. They pedalled up the forest path until the cabin came into view. "How quaint," said Lisa. "How peaceful," said Graham. A distant blood-curdling scream echoed through the trees. Said Liam. "Perhaps it's a tawny owl." "Or a very excitable jay," said Jimmy. Poppy's ears flattened. Inside, the cabin smelled faintly of damp timber, old secrets, and something faintly reminiscent of a butcher's shop on a warm day. "What a splendid place," said Lisa. "It's like a museum, but with more splinters," said Liam. Jimmy consulted his book on ornithology. Poppy eyed the drifting dust motes as if they were up to something. On a table sat an old reel-to-reel tape recorder, beside a book labelled Naturum di Monto. "Golly," said Jimmy, "do you think it's a diary?" Graham pressed play. "Oh, I do hope this has some lovely tunes we can dance to," Lisa said brightly. The tape crackled. A scholarly voice intoned, "Kanda, Amonte, Nobu." "Oh, ancient Sumerian! How novel," said Graham. "We did that for half a term in year 3. The cabin shuddered. A long, wet shriek rose from the woods. Said Liam. "That one sounded like a distressed heron." "Or a very cross pheasant," said Jimmy. Poppy's fur rose along her spine. Outside, a sudden squall began. Tree branches whipped against the windows. My, it's a breezy evening," Liam noted. Then came a heavy thump from below. "Oh dear," said Graham. "I think a bird may have flown into the cellar." They opened the cellar door and peered down the steps. The darkness stared back. "How atmospheric," said Lisa. "Very cosy," said Graham. Poppy let out a solitary meow. The children descended a few steps, found nothing but dust and a suspicious smear, and decided that was quite enough exploring for one afternoon. When they returned to the main room, the tape recorder lay on its side, the reels completely unspooled across the floor like metallic spaghetti, and in the middle of it all, Poppy was frolicking, rolling joyfully in the magnetic tape, kicking it with her back legs and chewing on a loop of incantation as if it were a ribbon from a Christmas present. "Oh, Poppy," said Lisa, "you've made a nest." The tape sputtered its final breath. "The demon shall." Poppy bit through the tape. The cabin exhaled. The wind died down. The trees outside, which had been quietly edging closer, shuffled back to their original positions. The cellar door thudded shut, not mysteriously, but with the weary finality of something that had decided to stay put. "What a clever cat," said Lisa. Poppy washed her paw nonchalantly. A final distant scream echoed through the forest. Said Liam. "That one might be a nightjar." "Or a very upset woodpecker," said Jimmy. They had a lovely weekend, eating marshmallows, reading about ornithology, going on hikes. The strangely bound book lay on the table unbrowsed. On Monday morning, the Fabulous Five packed their bags and mounted their bicycles. "What a lovely holiday," said Lisa. "Let's come back next year," said Jimmy. Poppy scowled. Her whiskers twitched a silent, "No thank you." "Oh, Poppy," said Graham, "you are adorable." And deep beneath the cabin, something ancient and malevolent stayed asleep and dreaming, having a nightmare about a cat.